The high school football regular season is in the rear view, and the playoffs are here. Welcome to the final drive. I'm Andrew Bandstra. Teams in our area played 37 games tonight, and we're going to bring you the result from every single one. So let's get right into it, starting with Waunakee. The Warriors were a perfect 9-0 this season and won the Badger Large. But this group has bigger goals, hosting Chippewa Falls. And remember, this is the same Chippewa Falls team that nearly knocked off Middleton in Level 1 last year, and they were back in Madison to cause more madness, getting the first score of the game in the second quarter. But the Warriors were one of 3 Division I teams with an undefeated record for a reason. Cole Kraus rips off a deep ball and connects with his man Cooper Johans. Wow, what a play. And to finish off the drive, how about this? The recent Wisconsin football commit, McCoy Smith, recruited for his defense, but he can run the ball too. The Warriors shockingly needed overtime to beat the 8th-seeded Cardinals, but they get the W 28-21 in overtime. Looking at more Division I scores, Madison West, they can't get the job done against Muskego, and Sun Prairie East, they see their season come to an end as well. Middleton lost week 1, but have been perfect ever since. The Big 8 champs only got a 3 seed though, but Level 1 is no big deal for the Cardinals, who have reached this stage and won it every year since 2018. But we mentioned it was a close call in Level 1 last year, not this time around. At halftime, the Cardinals already leading, ready for this, 42-0. And looking for more, Joey Pisaglia scrambles and fires, finding his man Jackson Guerrero, who gets the job done. And that's just a sample size of what we saw tonight. Hamilton eventually found the end zone, but make no mistake about it, this one was all Middleton. They move on to Level 2, winning 63-8. Moving down to Division II, where Monona Grove would look to keep flying high. They went 8-1 this season, their first 8 win in the regular season since 2018. They were hosting Brookfield Central, and let me tell you what, Monona Grove was not messing around. First drive of the game, and how about Jackson Zakowski? He gets the score and does it with ease. In Monona Grove, they were just getting started, this time doing it on the defensive end. How about this? Robbie Olson, well, he's going to force the safety on the Lancers. Check this out, tackles him, brings him down, and that is 2 more points for MG, who goes on to win it 39-8, the final score. More Division II scores. Beaver Dam gets into the playoffs barely, but they can't get it done, losing to River Falls. And Milton, who had a magnificent season, they cannot get the job done against Pulaski, 23-20, the final score. Moving down to Division III, where Edgewood has some wrongs to right. Sauk Prairie spoiled their undefeated season last week, robbing them of an outright Badger Small title. The Crusaders have a chip on their shoulder heading into the postseason, and they would absolutely show it off tonight at Breeze Stevens Field, hosting Rhinelander. And how good has number 5 been? The QB, Gannon Bagstead, fires it off on the screen pass, and he finds his man, Will Kelly. And you can catch him later, not going to get him, and the Crusaders find their way into the end zone, and later they do it on the ground. Carter Soma runs in past the pylon, getting the job done, and they cruise to the Crusaders to the victory, 35-7, the final score. Elsewhere in Division III, a couple of sad endings to good seasons for teams in our area. Jefferson loses to Catholic Memorial, and McFarland, they find themselves losing to Whitnall 42-0. And we send it to Nash Dara for another fantastic game.
Mount Horeb Barneveld is a force to be reckoned with, but for their standards, we're humbled a little bit in the regular season. The Vikings have something to prove in the playoffs and certainly have the talent to do it, hosting the Lumberjacks of Wausau East in Level 1 of the playoffs. But the Vikings get the first chop, 3rd and 11 in the first quarter. Brooks Hendrickson completes a pass to tight end Henry DeRosier. A 2-point conversion later would make it 8-0. We go then to the second quarter, another 3rd and 11 pass to complete to wide receiver Django Christian, who spins and spins his way into the end zone. Mount Horeb would go on to win 31-7.
Nash, what a season it's been so far for Mount Horeb. Hopefully more to come for them. We mentioned how good Sauk Prairie was this season. They lose a shocker to Pewaukee 31-10, and Reedsburg, they move on, beating Waterford 49-24. Down in Division 4 with our first friendly fire. Two teams from our area going at it. Lodi, a 3-seed, hosting Platteville in a good old-fashioned Southwest Wisconsin showdown. Lodi would see the only points of the first half with a touchdown. But Platteville, well, they came out of the half hungry to find the scoreboard, and they would find it right away with a bulldozing touchdown from their running back, Tyler Sassy, who put some sass on it. They'd finally get into the end zone with the Hellman, and they'd tie it up later. Now Lodi, it's Casey Fleshman. You're not going to get him. I guess in this case, maybe you do. But then get the job done getting it into the end zone on the very next play. Or would they? Platteville with the interception. See you later. And the Hillmen with an absolute stunning win over Lodi, winning it 37-30. Staying in Division 4, Columbus shows why they're a 1-seed, dominating Brown Deer 60-15. More Division 4 scores. Evansville advances easily 40-0, while Beloit Turner sees their season come to an end 41-7, the score there. More in D4 with another postseason pairing featuring two of our own. Lake Mills, a 4-seed, hosting the 5-seed Edgerton, and this is the kind of matchup you live for in the playoffs. However, it was only one team that was really ready for the test. Lake Mills would get on the board on their very first drive of the game, feeding their running back, Caden Smolinski. Later, well, it would be more running back action. A pitch to Camdy Tandy Habich, who says, how about we get one more touchdown, blockers in front, and he gets the job done. And unfortunately, it was just not Edgerton's night. They'd fall to the Hellcats in absolute shocking fashion, 42-0, the score there. Down to Division 5, finishing off a trio of friendly fire. Another duo in our area duking it out for a chance to advance to Level 2. New Glarus coming off their best season in well over a decade, hosting Clinton. And man, did New Glarus look every bit the part. They do it on the ground early and often. Matt Roth hands off to his running back, Carson Pretchel, and you can just about forget about it. Putting Clinton into a pretzel, you could say, and they were just getting started. Later on, it's Milo Johnson. He spins his way in, and Johnson, speaking of just getting started, was going to get it done once more. MJ into the end zone as New Glarus wins it, and they don't leave any doubt about it. 43-0, the final score. Elsewhere in Division 5, Richland Center and Lancaster, they both lose, ending their 2025 campaigns. More D5, Watertown Luther Prep, they can't pull off the upset. And a stunner here. How good was River Valley this season? They were fantastic, but they can't get the job done against Durand, Arkansas. 40-21, they lose. Down to Division 6, where Darlington, well, of course, they move on 55-14. And Waterloo, they lose to, you can't see it here, but it's Manitowoc Lutheran Prep. And Lutheran Prep gets the job done. I think the score is flipped there. It certainly is. Waterloo, unfortunately, did not advance. Manitowoc won this matchup. Meanwhile, Cambridge, they can't get the job done. They were fantastic this year, losing to Waiawega Fremont 21-7, and Fenimore beats Mineral Point 50-7. And it was more D6 woes here, at least for Marshall. They lose to Bangor. But how about this for an upset? Markesan, who came into this game 9-0, well, they go home with a loss as Belleville, the 7-seed, sends them home 42-14. Closing the door on Division 6 as we go on to the very next score. It's Poynette defeating Howards Grove 53-16. Down to Division 6, where Blackhawk Warren, they beat River Ridge in a shootout. Or was it 8-6, the final score there? Johnson Creek, the 2 seed, handing it to the 7 seed Clear Lake. Our Blue Jays move on 48-7. Elsewhere in Division 7, the reigning state runner-up Potosi Cassville, they run their way on to level 2, but Randolph, they can't get it done, losing to Coleman 44-6. More D7 scores. Seneca Wazeeka Steuben, they hand it to Ithaca 30-14. And one last score to check. Belmont, this in the 8-man division, they can't get it done in level 2, losing to the Oaks of Oakfield 32-26.